Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving Shorty, based on recent reports. Fuck ice. Today we're going to do Mischief of Magpies. It's a brand new Comics in 5 Minutes, and I've been really looking forward to it because I honestly didn't think we were going to get it, or at least I wasn't sure we were going to get it. People paying attention to comic book news over the past year will understand that Distillery is not doing as well as I think they'd like to have done. They hit some major delays, some creators have walked away, some stuff is definitely not going to get published, or at least under their umbrella, and they pretty much said they were going to take a huge backseat and step away from publishing comic books at all. Thankfully, that did seem to only be a minor issue. Stuff has been coming out for the past couple of weeks, which is nice. And it looks like some stuff that I've been looking forward to in Collect Edition is going to drop at some point, which is nice. This one was on my radar because it's Simon Spurrier. It's a writer that pretty much anything he does I'm going to pay attention to. Some stuff I've liked more than others, I can't deny that, but he's got a fantastic voice and I love how he uses it. He has no problem looking at actual real world stuff. He does some very, very dark horror. He also does some really nice, over-the-top, glorious science fiction and fantasy. Quite often when he's doing that, he'll do it with Bagara. I apologise if I've mispronounced that name. I've said in an earlier review of some of them working together, the very first time I saw their work together, the visuals didn't work for me. I feel like the longer they've spent working together, though, the more they've figured out how their visual languages can come together really effectively. I feel like the early stuff I saw was very thinly lined with a lot of detail. The pages looked quite busy. It felt like there wasn't enough room to really expand upon the visuals of the comic book. But as they've gone on and done more and more, it's become far more obvious that they nailed this kind of thing. The last thing I saw of these two working together, it was the big open spaces that really grabbed me. It was the huge set pieces, which makes me think Distillery is the right choice for them. They are the oversized comic book manufacturers extraordinaire, even though I hate how big these comic books are when it comes to getting them individually. It's why, as I said, I wait for the trades. The hardbacks look amazing on the shelf. But Bagara's artwork really does need this slightly bigger format, I think, especially because although there are some wonderful, big, expansive pieces of artwork, there's some lovely, wide double-page shots, some quite short ones but wide, which look amazing, and there's also just brilliant single page gorgeous setup of what's going on visually for the world most of the story is going to take place in. But it is the slightly smaller, more personal aspect of the story which I'm myself really enjoying. Don't get me wrong, there's some bits where it gets like really tight, like very, very narrow focus, and Bagara again, like very good at what he does. He uses this setting and a different colour palette to really make it feel oppressive and tight and claustrophobic. After the expansiveness of everything else, it's brilliantly done. There's even bits where he uses a similar kind of colour palette, but in a more wide open space, and you can tell his artistic vision changes slightly. We get more of the depth of field, we get to see a larger sense of scale. That same palette used later on, a lot tighter, a lot more focused, becomes oppressive and downright scary at times, and I really like it for that. But as I say, it's a spew of it all which really gets me on board straight away. In this particular case, it's the kind of knowing way of telling the story that I'm vibing with. We get a portal fantasy story, and I don't mind those. I can find them quite entertaining at times. I'm a big fan of Kieran Gillen's Die stuff, as an example. But I'm not saying I think this is a Portal story. Gillen will tell you there's lots of different ways you can look at that and how you can apply what type of story it is to that label. In this particular case, the main character of the story literally says, oh wait, I'm in a Portal fantasy. And I like that. Some people might not work, that kind of like very knowing nod to being aware of your surroundings. But as me as a tabletop role-playing, I will have stories which exist in a world where people understand how these stories work. Probably the best example of this in real world would be Shaun of the Dead. This is a zombie movie in a world where zombie movies exist. They know what's going on, and I find that to be a really nice bit of storytelling because they think they know the rules, they think they understand what's going on, and they are better than the concept, because so often in zombie films, the fact that you don't know what's going on is what kills you, and they end up going and getting into all manner of fun and shenanigans. The fact that he knows what's going on leads into that to a certain degree, but he's also a teenage boy, and I was a teenage boy for quite some time, and I have friends who have teenage children, and I will say, as a group, we are not great at dealing with things not going our way. So we start with this lad who understands that he's in a portal fantasy, who gets given the epic quest, and he absolutely agrees to go on it because he knows what's going on. He's aware of the world, he's aware of the storytelling conventions, but then when things don't go his way, the anger he gets, the frustration he gets, feeds really nicely into who he is within not just the portal fantasy side of the world, but in the real world of it as well. And those two worlds come together brilliantly on numerous occasions. It is a wonderfully well written story. I genuinely want to read more. It is kind of frustrating. I am going to wait for the collection drop for this one. But Speria and Bagara working together just do wonderful stuff. Throw an extra credit out to the letter as well. I'm afraid I'm probably going to butcher this name, so I apologise. Otsmane Eloa. I apologise if I've got that wrong. I've only ever seen it written down, but your lettering is just absolutely off the charts. It's amazing. You deserve every award for what you do. That's it for me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe.